Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to Travel Week and our new series Reopened. Today we have Angella Bennett. She is a regional director of the JTB, Jamaica Tourist Board. Hello, Angella.
Hi, Davine. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Jamaica is one of the trailblazers. You guys are leading the pack, opening up to international visitors. We know, Canadians still have a few concerns. We have a government advisory advising us against non-essential travel. We have a quarantine when we come back. There's some insurance issues, but nonetheless, we are very excited that Jamaica is, welcoming tourists again. And we want to just sit down with you today and really understand what is going on the island and what visitors can expect when they come to Jamaica. So why don't you paint the scene for us? What was the COVID pandemic like in Jamaica?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Davine. And I brought with me one of my cool Jamaica background. So I didn't want to show you my living room or anything like that. I wanted to inspire you, first of all, with my waterfalls here. But the first case in Jamaica actually was reported on March 9th. And our government quickly put a lot of procedures in place. So, there was a directive to work from home, and there was also curfews that were put in place to keep everybody safe, and especially in the areas that were a little bit more seeing an uptick in the positive virus cases. So, I must say they handled the situation like any first world. And they were even commented by the World Health Organization of how rapid the response was from Jamaica. We closed our borders to cruise and air traffic, in order to keep the country safe and to have a very strong hold on this virus. So I'm very happy with my government in putting these procedures in place for the safety of its residents. So we are on top of it. I think today and yesterday we reported no cases at all. So this is really, really good news as we open our borders and receive our guests right now.
Yeah, that's great. I think you've only reported like a few hundred cases. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are today 621 cases,
Okay.
but our recovery, we're almost 430 of our residents have recovered. So, our recovery rate is almost 70%, 69.2%. And this is a very good turnaround. We haven't had any serious cases where, this is really dramatic, but we've had 10 deaths in the entire experience. So you can see how well this has been treated and how rapid our response has been to anyone that has been tested and we have seek treatment.
Yes, excellent. Okay, now let's turn specifically to the tourism sector. So it seems your government has decided to create a corridor from the Grill to Port Antonio and kind of carve out Kingston. So can you explain some of the reasoning behind it?
Sure. Because the opening is on a face basis, we had to create a sterile area in which we can accommodate our guests. And this starts from Negril on the north, goes all the way through to Port Antonio. And the road that the highway that runs through is actually the imaginary line that separates the corridor. So all the beachfront properties are open, and the ones that have been approved by the TPDCO, which is the Tourism Product and Development arm of the Ministry of Tourism, that is responsible for ensuring the protocol procedures are executed in each hotel. So the corridor is very sterile. It is with entities of hotels that are, let's say, certified with the protocols that have been put in place to execute their business. And as this is phase one, we will see more and more hotels rolled out as we go into the second phase. And so in Kingston, we have our business district, which is the new Kingston and its environment. So if we have travelers that are in Jamaica for business, especially particularly in our capital, Kingston, they are too able to move around and do business in, of course, the parameters of the protocol.
Okay. So yes, it's a very strategic plan to start opening up tourism because it's so important to the economy, but at the same time, keeping people safe as much as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, keep in mind, we're still in the pandemic, it's not over.
Yeah.
So, first and foremost, we ask all our partners to walk hand in hand with us with the opening of our borders, because it is in a very controlled way. So, wherever our guests go, we want to ensure that we're able to track and trace their footprints and where they go and what they do. So they really are in a controlled space. And absolutely the warmth of Jamaica, the feel of Jamaica, they will still have this wonderful experience. But everyone has to remember that this is still a pandemic, and this is with certain protocols that we all have to adhere to. Otherwise, we don't want another spike or things to turn around after all these good work have been done.
No, I must really commend you, the effort you guys put into that. What was it, 107-page document? I read it, and it is just so detailed, exactly who does what and when. I really must congratulate you on that. I'm sure it was a lot of work, that's for sure.
It was, and it was in consultation with international risk management organizations, with our own task force team in Jamaica that was led by all our ministries. There's a collaboration between the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Tourism, PICA or Immigration, and this was a collaborative effort, but it was a well-sorted plan. And it covers certain sectors to make sure that everybody's involved. We did a deep dive into ensuring that the protocols spoke to sanitization, the PPE, safe masks, the wearing of face masks, personal distancing, some clear and frequent communication to make sure everybody was on board. Of course, the technology of how we do things, real-time recording of every case that we've had and tracking every case, rapid and clear response to everything that we've done, and most importantly, training. We have set up through the very same TPD code to ensure that our tourism workers are trained and they understand the protocol and they buy into the protocol, so that when we roll out the opening, they will be ready. They will be comfortable with it. They'll be ready and to give you service from the heart in a very safe and responsible way.
Okay, thank you. Let's start from the beginning and go through step by step kind of what a visitor is looking at these days in the new normal. First of all, what airlines are flying into Jamaica?
So out of Canada, we have Air Canada is flying, and with their Air Canada Vacation, that is offering packages for vacation in Jamaica right now. There are 3 flights into Kingston on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and 2 flights will start into Montego Bay on June 20th on a Saturday, Sunday rotation. We do have other flights out of the US as well that are flying into Jamaica. Altogether, we are up to about 100 flights for the period. And when we speak about the protocol, we're talking about the period between our opening, which is the 15th of June, to the 30th of June. And we're speaking, everything we're speaking right now speaks to this period. So we do have flights coming in over this period. And then as we analyze and progress, then we will extend the protocols beyond the 30th of June. So things could change depending on how we see things happening. But as this is a controlled entry, we want to make sure that, you know, we assess, we analyze, we watch to see, we track to see how the cases are coming in. And, you know, there's so much pre-screening that is done even from Canada here to get on the plane. But I'm happy to share with you that you now have to have a travel authorization certificate to enter Jamaica. This has to be applied for online, and we have 2 channels to do this. If you're a visitor with a non-resident, you apply to the visitjamaica.com pre-authorization website. If you're a Jamaican resident going home, you apply through our Jam COVID-19 platform. And this platform takes you through a pre-screening exercise. And what it really does is it tells Jamaica who is coming. It gives a profile of the customer that we are receiving. It's 5 easy questions, and within 5 to 7 minutes, the form is completed. The bonus part of the form is that it is attached to our C5, which is our immigration form. So once you fill out the pre-authorization aspect of the form, it populates your C5 form. So, you know, that's what expedites the process. And it really just asks you 5 health questions about COVID, your exposure to it, you know, where you've traveled in the last 6 months or so, so that we have an understanding of who is coming to Jamaica. Every visitor in this space between the 15th to the 30th has been tested and will be tested on arrival. It's the swab test. And this is done at the airport. So when you exit the plane, you know, you have this wonderful health administration team that does a small interview. You're done with the tests, you go get your bags, and you're out of there. So the process itself takes a little bit longer than the normal time you'd go to the airport. And, you know, all these things are done. Now, there are, let's say, 4 categories of travelers that we're allowing into Jamaica right now. And we categorize them as, for the Jamaican nationals, they're under the stay-at-home returning resident category. Or if you're a visitor, you stay in zone category. So you stay within your resilience corridor and you stay within the hotel that you have booked. No? And then you have the stay for intended stay for business. So this would speak to people that are coming to Jamaica because they have business here, business relation. Those are the profiles. If you are coming as a visitor and you have booked a hotel within the resilience corridor, you're tested at the airport, you're sent to the hotel, you are quarantined in the hotel. And what this means is you can use the facility, you can enjoy the hotel, but you stay within the hotel. And up to 48 hours, you will get the results. If you're tested negative, you continue to enjoy the hotel and you enjoy the facilities. If you're tested positive, then you're isolated either in a government facility or there is each hotel that is open right now do have some rooms assigned for this, for isolation, you know, to check further, and based on the health authorities, they will determine if you are taken to a government facility or not. For Jamaicans and non-Jamaicans coming for and staying in a private home, you will be tested as well on arrival, but you will be quarantined at the home you're staying for 14 days. Because the reason for this is very simple. We can control the folks that are staying in the hotel. We cannot control the folks that wish to stay at a private home and track their movement. So if there's an outbreak, we cannot track their footprints. We cannot control where they've been, who they've been around. And this is very important for the process to ensure that we control the spread and control the activities for the moment. If you're traveling for business, you are allowed to as well come in, do your test, and you do your business. You conduct your business under the protocol. For business, you're allowed to have meetings for no more than 10 people. You're expected to organize a private transfer, so you're not in public transportation. You do your business and you go back to where you're staying. And then again, just to remind the guests that are staying in guest house or returning residents staying at home, they're allowed to go out once per day for business transaction, for exercise, you know, if they want to go shopping for food and for medication. So you're not locked down. You're able to go and to come back. So these are pretty much the traces, I would say, for or diaspora travelers. They will be quarantined at home. So it's a little bit difficult for them to travel right now. If you're just going down for a wedding or a funeral, it's almost impossible to do that because of the isolation. Because if you're quarantined at home, you're not supposed to leave your home. We are not encouraging that. So you may want to put off your trip for a little while longer. So you know, that is important to understand, because the conditions, the protocols are enforced, and they're enforced for a reason. We have to keep our nationals safe. We have to keep people in a safe space so we can manage and control the movement of where they go and what they do. So should there be an outbreak, we can control the situation and we can track the situation as well. Residents that are coming home, they're given a tracking device which helps the government to ensure that they're where they say they are. So we're able to manage that. Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot of information. Okay. Well, let's just focus our conversation on the leisure traveler who would be coming down and staying in the hotel.
Absolutely.
You know, talking about all these, you know, business travelers, you know, this is a day-long conversation. So let's narrow in on the leisure travel. And I think you have really identified some of the major changes. One is this pre-authorization that you're going to have before you go. Two is this COVID test that you're now going to be getting at the airport. And then three, what's going to happen to you if you're positive. So taking it back to number one, this pre-authorization, is this solely to collect information for the government before arrival, or is there a possibility that you could get denied entry in this pre-approval process?
So the pre-approval is really to have a greater understanding of the profile of our guests coming. There are high risk, low risk guests, but you still get approval. There is a chance not to get approved, but if you don't, you shouldn't be on a plane. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, we have to look at high risk, where somebody may be, you know, showing symptoms or 1 of 10 symptoms or something like that. We may look at where they're going as well, because this could be a high risk area if they're going in a particular part of the country where we think there's a high risk of exposure in that area. So those are taken into consideration, but pretty much it is data collected, and it's collected and in a way that we're able to assess before the visitor arrives in the destination what it is that we're dealing with. And for the small number that you know, we've been able to see some statistics on the approval. Up to yesterday, I think we were up to about 20,000 application on the Jam COVID site. And as of 5 minutes ago, we had over 496 on the Visit Jamaica, which would be for staying in a hotel. If you're staying in a hotel, we've had so far almost 500 applications that has been approved. None has been denied. On the Jam COVID side, they're almost all approved. There are like 1,000 that we are now asking for additional information.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of anyone getting denied is very slim. And as I said, if you're denied, you should not be on a plane or going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. We're going to have to keep in touch because the number of applications is such a good barometer for demand. Like how many people are actually willing to go on holiday at this point. I can imagine demand is just going to kind of slowly increase, hopefully.
Yes, it's going to be a slow grind as we focus on leisure travel. I would say a good percentage of the travelers now are, let's say, diaspora, returning residents, and people that are interracial that want to go home for a little break, a little time out right now. This is the traffic we're seeing, but definitely we are seeing a small number in our leisure traveler coming to Jamaica, and we are very excited about that. I mean, the tourism workers, they are excited to go back to work. We need to get our economy going, and we're starting. We have one flight out of Toronto, and hopefully in a few months, we will see the other partners start to fly as well. But we're very happy with the one flight we have.
Thank you. Let's go back to this COVID test at the airport. I'm not a doctor. How do they do these things? Is it with a temperature check? Is it a blood test? What is it?
No, there's temperature check that is done, but the most critical test is the PCR swab test by nasal. I haven't done a test, but and I'm happy I'm good. But I have been told that it's a bit uncomfortable. Anything that goes up your nose is very uncomfortable. But it's done in a very short time. So the discomfort is not a long procedure at all. But we do have to do this to ensure safety for our residents or nationals and for our guests as well, to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Okay, so you arrive at the airport, you get the nasal swab, then the government is going to be in touch with you within 48 hours with the results. Right. And until you get the results, you're not stuck in your room. You can freely move about the property. You can't leave the property. Is that
absolutely that is perfectly and precisely so?
Okay. And now in worst case scenario, you are COVID positive. What are the quarantine facilities like? I know you mentioned there was a few rooms on property, but are they building big government quarantine facilities?
Well, if you're tested positive, now you will have to have a conversation between the hotel, yourself, and the Ministry of Health. And on further assessments of your symptoms, they will determine the government facilities that you would have to be isolated. Once you're tested positive, the hotel has an isolation room where you're held, and we organize what happens to you afterwards. There's no cost if you stay in a government facility, but if you prefer to stay in a private facility, there's some cost that you would have to consider if you want to take. So that is the procedure right now as we speak. And I think further on, there will be talks of possibly offering an insurance that a guest could buy into, to be accommodated in a private facility or flown home. But this is still something down the line. But for the moment, you are accommodated in a government facility if you're tested positive, because we cannot have you further interacting or engaging in the hotel with other guests.
Okay, so you've touched on one of the new developments at the resort, that each resort is going to have a isolation room. Can you go through some of the other safety protocols and cleanliness protocols that you're mandating across the sector?
Oh, absolutely. So the hotel in itself will operate with new sets of protocol. First of all, the restaurants, the tables and chairs will be 6 feet apart. You'll be expected to wear masks, very important. Coming into Jamaica, I think even from Canada, you're expected to wear a mask going into the airport. So one of our new protocols is that you're expected to wear face masks throughout the property. However, if you're in the pool, if you are on the beach, the beach chairs are 6 feet apart, and every hotel has to adhere to these protocols. In your room, you have the option if you want your room to be clean every day, or if you want it to be clean once every 2 days, so you reduce the traffic or the amount of people that come into your room. All our hotel workers go through the full protocol training. They are going to be wearing masks. They're going to be, doing all the things that, to keep the distance, but still service from the heart, because we're the heartbeat of the world. So that feeling has to come through in all of this protocol. In the dining rooms in the hotel, the buffets will still be there, but instead of you serving yourself, you will be served by a member of the hotel team. So all that touching interaction will be reduced. When you wear your mask into the restaurant, you can sit at your table, take off your mask, of course, and have your meals. But it is recommended when you're in a public space like the lobby, during entertainment, which is going to be a little bit reduced right now because we cannot have massive amount of people in big spaces. So entertainment will be varied, and we'll do more small, intimate entertainment. I believe that, we have such a wide variety of hotels. You have the all-inclusives that are couples only, like Sandals Hotel. Their scenario is so good because they're really made for two. So when two guests are together, they want to be together. So it helps in the isolation of gathering. But you have the other all-inclusive hotels that are very much, they've had implemented even stronger measures than the ones recommended by the government. So, you will have hand sanitization stations. This will be throughout, from the airport to the hotels. Within the hotels, you'll have sanitization stations everywhere. And, the mask wearing. We will have the cleaning procedures and the type of cleaning, deep cleaning of each room that will be done. And, every area of the hotel, from the pool area to the water sports, to the restaurants, to the bars. There'll be marks signed along everywhere how far each person needs to be from each other. So it may not be a pretty picture right now, but it is a safe picture right now for everyone in the hotel.
Okay, well, you asked one of my burning questions. You answered. What is happening with the buffet? But now you've clarified that the buffet is not dead. It is just reorganized a little bit.
Exactly. You will be served whatever you want, instead of you touching the spatulas that they use on the buffet line. But you will have your buffet because there's no space to feed so many people a la carte style if you don't have the volume of restaurants. And also the restaurants will operate at a 70% capacity as well, which is very good. So you may even see a breakfast buffet that is served in different restaurants just to break down the capacity level. And this is very good because you will have smaller buffets and less mass crowd gathering, especially for the larger hotels. The smaller hotels is easy because of the capacity. And over this time, the occupancies are nowhere near where they should be. So physical distancing should be absolutely possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another burning question I have, if I was a guest going down to have fun, what is going to be happening at the pools and the beaches in regards to wearing masks when you're trying to enjoy the water?
Sure. When you're in the pool, you have to take off the mask. And especially for small children, we highly recommend that they do not wear the mask, as they could develop problems being in the pool. But you can use the pool without mask. On the beach, you are 6 feet apart from each other. And keep in mind, the mask is recommended when you're in spaces that you can't be 6 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can enjoy the beach, enjoy the pool, and use the mask when you're, let's say, in the restaurant, when you're gathering at a bar to get a drink where there's a lot of people around. Those are safe ways, because the mask is something that protects you and me. And so you use it in areas where you physically cannot be away from each other.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point. The last thing we want to do is replace one health risk with another. And what I read in the report is that, if you have something covering your mouth while you're trying to swim, that itself can be a risk. So
we would not recommend that at all. Not at all.
No
if you're in the water, if you're ocean, no swimming with mask at all.
Okay, this is very helpful. This really helps kind of paint the picture of what it will be like at resorts. There's going to be a lot more social distancing. The restaurants are still going to be there. You're still going to be able to enjoy the pool, the beach. It's just, I guess, the same kind of protocols that we're dealing with here in Canada, just more distance and more cleanliness.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So these protocols are going to be in place for how long?
Now, it's like any international company here in Canada. We have to monitor, we have to assess, we have to see how every step of the way the development of this pandemic plays out. We're in a good place in Jamaica right now. We have a downward trajectory, and we want to keep it that way. The protocols will be there for as long as we need them. And nobody knows when this pandemic will be over. But we have to ensure that there are steps in place. I'm sure down the line, a lot of things may be relaxed, depending on how the science plays out, or how we control how this behavior of this virus, or until we find a vaccine. So, all of these things are so dependent on so many variables, and we really have to monitor every step of the way. This is why we are looking between the 15th and the 30th. Then we assess and we see where we are. Then we move to the next stage. Unfortunately, it's not the perfect scenario, but it's where we are right now. It's a new normal, the new era, until things get to a full relaxed situation. We really have to keep everyone safe.
Okay, thank you for that. And when we move into phase 2, do we have any idea what that will look like? Do we have that information yet?
That is still with the task force. They're rolling out new measures every single day. But I think as a people, tourism, the business of tourism is such an emotional, such an intimate business, where you want to smile, you want to interact, you want to feel the vibes, the heartbeat of Jamaica. And I truly believe with time, we will get there down the road, and we can go back to business. Of course, this has truly taught us, some new rules, some new ways of doing business, even how we do transactions. They're more digital. The technology of paying for things, you pay more electronically than exchanging currency in hand. We will soon have the next phase where we can safely open our attractions and, get everybody back out to enjoy this beautiful country and this beautiful picture that is behind me. So we're going step by step. Right now, we have the hotel sector open with the approved ones. And each hotel that is approved, they have a seal of approval from the TPDCO side to say, we are ready, we are approved, and so that everybody's safe. But I think eventually we will get there again when we will open everything up and you can enjoy the full extent of what we have to offer.
One of my questions was going to be if the attractions were open, Dunn's River Falls, Rose Hall, Rick's Cafe. I think you said
No.
that they're not open.
Exactly. So that I imagine will fall into phase 2. Once we've been able to assess this first phase of the opening, we will look then to our attractions or private owned attractions or national attractions to make sure we are good to move into that phase. And so it, as we say in Jamaica, soon come. Soon come.
No problem.
Soon come.
Okay, let's touch a bit on the big hotel chains that the agents would be mostly selling. Which ones are already open and which ones are opening in June?
Right. So the large hotels that are open that I am aware of right now, we have Rio Ocho Rios that is open. We have Moon Palace that is also open. And I believe we will also have Oceans by H10 open as well. We are waiting for the final update and from the TPDCO team on the hotels that they have approved to open. But for sure, we know that those ones are already open.
Okay. So if you had to summarize for the travel agents, like what are the main points they need to know about selling Jamaica going forward, and what's the most important information they need to get across to their clients?
Well, we want to make sure that they stay informed about the protocols and the new procedure selling Jamaica. I think this is very, very critical because you're selling to an audience that may not have all the information on what to do, when they enter Jamaica. So we really are very focused on ensuring that they are kept abreast. And I hope they're on today on Travel Week on this chat with us because they need to be armed with the information. And the information is still very fluid. So we want to make sure things that we share with them, they're kept abreast of the right information. So to our travel agents, we want to make sure you connect with us on our Facebook page for Canada, which is visitjamaica.com/Canada, and our Facebook page. Join up with us because we post up to the date, up to the minute information about what is happening in Jamaica, the opening of the hotels, and how we roll those out. I do believe also, just to mention, I think Holiday Inn is also open. It just came to my mind. So we will post on our Facebook page and on our digital platform all the hotels that are open. And I also encourage everyone to visit visitjamaica.com/travel update. You get all the news, you get the most asked questions on this website, and you get real-time information. This is very critical. I think the travel agents as well, they need to focus with their tour operators. And right now we have Air Canada, so they will roll out the hotels that they are working with for the first phase. And ensure that those hotels have the protocols in place so that they can inform their clients correctly. They need to focus also on the travel authorization certificate. This is very critical to make sure everyone gets this filled out in time. You have up to 72 hours before you travel to do it, or you could even do it on the day, because if you're going to stay in a hotel, you are using the visitjamaica.com site, which uses an algorithm. So the response time is within 10 minutes. Oh, wow. So it is very fast, it's very efficient, and it gets you the authorization very quickly. And you will need this not to book your ticket, but to check in at the airport, because the new procedures in Jamaica have been uploaded with our IATA partners and to their thematic system. So it is in the airline system. So if your guests are traveling to Jamaica, it is very, very important to make sure that they have the travel authorization certificate ready to go. And they can take this on their phone, or they can print it and take it with them on their tablets and present it. It has a QR bar, so when they get to Jamaica, this is scanned and all their information is there. And they no longer will need to fill out the immigration form on the plane. They can do this ahead of time when they apply for the authorization, the pre-screening authorization.
Okay, that's great. We actually do have quite a few agents on Facebook Live with us right now, and needless to say, they have questions for you. So let's head to audience questions.
Sure.
The first one is, if people fly into Kingston, can they then go into the tourism corridor?
Now, remember when we spoke about the different profile of the guest. So if your guest is coming to Jamaica for a vacation, if they fly into Kingston, they have to stay within the corridor. So they can be transported to their hotel from Kingston, or they can be transported to their hotel from Montego Bay. I mean, it would be easier if you fly into Montego Bay and you're staying between the resilient corridor of Negril, all the way to Ocho Rios. If you're staying in Port Antonio, you do have the option to fly into Kingston and travel to your hotel in Port Antonio. What we don't want is if you fly into Kingston, then you stop on your way to Ocho Rios and visit your friends, and then you stop in Falmouth and visit another friend before you get to the hotel. So yes, they can fly into Kingston and stay in a hotel in Montego Bay. Absolutely.
Okay, I have another really good question here.
Yeah.
Someone's asking, they don't want to risk being quarantined. Is there any way to do a COVID test here in Canada beforehand, or are they always going to have to do the test in Jamaica as well?
For this period, for the period up to June 30, the tests are mandatory in Jamaica. If you choose to do a test in Canada, it actually expedites the process, but you really do will need to be tested in Jamaica. And it also depends how far out your tests have been, etc. So the test will be done in Jamaica for this period. I'm not sure what will happen after June 30th, but for this period that we're under, because we're still under the risk, management, we still have to do the test in Jamaica.
Okay, yes, understood. Someone is asking, if they test positive and they're sent to the government quarantine facilities, what happens to their travel companions?
So this will be based on the assessment that will be done by the health authorities. So, the health professionals, they will come in, they will do the assessments, they will test your family as well to see, if they're showing any signs of symptoms. If they're not, they can remain in the hotel and you are quarantined in this case. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you have any final thoughts for everyone out there? Like, tell us something inspirational, like why we want to come to Jamaica.
Jamaica is absolutely an iconic destination, and it's on a lot of people's bucket list. And it is so unique that you could be coming to Jamaica 4 or 5 times and there's something new that you discover. But one thing is for sure, we are the heartbeat of the world. And when I say that, I mean in the food or music or people or culture. This is something that is like no other. And the natural beauty of the destination. Look at the picture that is behind me. Those images speak volume to who we are as a people and as a nation. Throughout all this protocol, I can assure you, our Jamaican workers are ready. They want to embrace you with a smile of their eyes. Again, you will feel the smile through their eyes. And, we want to engage with you again in a safe way. We ask you to hold hands with us as we go through this process, because a lot of families in Jamaica are depending on tourism. We have over 350,000 direct and indirect workers that are dependent on tourism. So we are very passionate about this process and to ensure that it works. We count on our travel agent community that we are with you. We have shown you in every single way throughout our platforms how much we are with you. And we need you all to walk with us through this process to get our economy back and to get our business back on track. We want to travel. We want you to enjoy. And we're going to get you to Jamaica as quickly as we possibly can. So just stay with us. We have to ensure that the livelihood of our people are protected and the business is protected as well.
Thank you so much. That was actually very inspiring. I've been to Jamaica at least 10 times, and every time I go, I have such a good time. The people are so lovely. The beaches are fabulous. All the resorts are absolutely top notch. So I know we're going through a little bit of a difficult time here, but I personally can't wait to come again. And I know a bunch of the agents and their clients can't wait to come again soon. So we really appreciate you taking the time today to walk us through step by step how this is all going to look. Sometimes it's hard to digest through a document, and you taking the time to explain has been absolutely invaluable for everyone watching. Thank you.
No, thank you too. And as I said, a big thanks to our government, led by our Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness, and our Minister of Tourism, Edmund Bartlett, or Director of Tourism, Donovan White, and the entire team of Jamaica that is there ensuring our safety comes first and really driving this direction. So we're very happy. I'm very inspired. I am very excited, and I look forward to the future.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to all our viewers who also took the time to join us. We'll be having more Facebook Lives on Travel Week, so please watch out for more information. And we'll also be keeping you updated on Jamaica, what demand is like, when the protocols are changing. We will keep you informed of all of this. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to interacting again sometime. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.